The NPA is not only about prosecution. We've got two streams within the NPA. We've got corporate services, then we've got the NPS that specifically deals with prosecuting services. So for a person that has studied LLB, they'll be in the stream of NPS. So they apply. We've got our aspirant program, which is this booklet that I have here, which is a year program where when you are admitted, you first have to write entry exams and attend interviews so that you can be placed into the program. Once you become successful, you then are taken through the one-year program where you'll be capacitated with theoretical and practical experience, preparing you to become a prosecutor. And then at the end of the program, they have to submit their portfolio of evidence to show that they indeed succeeded in applying the knowledge that they have been taught. Once they pass, they are then admitted as prosecutors. Then we have this stream that I'm talking about, where Tinabo Pindi we fall in, the one of corporate services. So we are basically the administrative arm of the NPA, where you find your careers like us who are in communications, you find your career in finance, supply chain and logistics, your PA secretarial duties. So those careers, the entry level can start from matric. When you have a matric certificate, you can apply. Then there are those higher positions where they require a diploma. The higher you go, they require a degree, they require NQF level 8 and so on. Now, every prosecutor in the lower court, this is for our lower courts. So you'll find that there is a case that is being allocated to maybe an advocate who is based in the DPP office. Now, those are the ones you will see in the lower courts not robing. They don't have, it's not a must that they must robe. They can appear before a magistrate without a robe. But however, remember, those are the ones who have permission to appear before the High Court. So in the High Court, when they go and perform their duties, they'll be robed in plain black gowns. That is why, as the NPA, we have instructed our prosecutors to use the law, because we are empowered by the law, specifically Section 342A of the Criminal Procedure Act, which deals with unreasonable delays. So where a prosecutor sees that a matter now is stretching far too long, unnecessarily so, then they can bring such an application to court for the court to investigate that indeed these delays are unreasonable or reasonable. Then the court can make its finding. So it's our way of trying to curb such instances where we know that rich people, they don't mind paying, they've got the money to do so. So the matter can delay for as long as they want, you know. So to curb such instances, we have instructed the prosecutors to use Section 342A of the Criminal Procedure Act. Well, we can assure people that in terms of the Constitution is clear. All people should be treated equally. They enjoy the same rights, rich or poor. Justice should not be about looking at the pocket or at your state of your financial status, to say. So we can assure the society that people are treated equally. And remember also, as the public must be empowered, which is why we are here as the NPA. which is why this is part of extending our community outreach project. That is why we are here exhibiting. It's us extending our services to the public, extending, promoting accessibility so that we can educate people, because what makes people suffer prejudice sometimes is also lack of knowledge. To say, if I feel that this prosecutor is not doing justice to my case, or if I feel that this investigator is not doing justice to my case, what is the next step? What do I do? So where a complainant feels unhappy, either about a service or whatever that they dissatisfied dissatisfied about relating to their case, they must always know that there is a next step that you can take. So with us as the NPA, if a person is unhappy with the way the prosecutor is handling their case, they are free to contact a control prosecutor, which is found within that same lower court. If they are still unhappy, they can approach the senior public prosecutor, who is a senior to the prosecutor and the control prosecutor. If still unhappy, there is a person that we call the chief prosecutor, who is running the cluster, who is overseeing and managing the cluster of the NPA. So here in Gauteng South, we have 3 clusters. We have the East Rand, the West Rand, and Johannesburg. So it's their right. I'm just sharing the steps that they need to follow. Still, if they are unhappy with the response that they get or the service that they get from the chief prosecutor, then they can approach the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, which is based opposite the Johannesburg High Court. That is where our offices are based. So you see, you can go up until the office of the National Director. Is your right as the complainant, where you feel that things are not being handled properly. But I can assure you, our doors as the NPA are always open. We operate under a policy that we call an open door policy, where you can just walk in, state your case, and we will see how to assist. Witness fees, they are paid by the Department of Justice, and it's to assist, because remember, we as the state, we are the one alleging. So as we are alleging, we also rely on the witness, who plays a crucial role in us proving our case in court. So hence, this then a form of compensation to them for their time and the sacrifice they make to help us as the state in proving our case. So with an accused person enjoys their right, which normally the court will notify them on their first appearance, like, you have a right to be represented. You can choose your own lawyer, or we can provide a lawyer for you through legal aid. So that has nothing to do with us, which is why when an accused person is acquitted, they can then lodge a claim, a lawsuit against the state. Fortunately, they cannot complain to us, because we are the ones who, yes, who have preferred charges against them. Yeah. We are the ones who are alleging that they've committed an offense. Well, we are alive to the fact that corruption exists, and we are also not unique or immune from corruption. Indeed, corruption is there, which is why we have our anti-corruption line. We also share information and educate the public, because for corruption to happen, there are 2 parties. There is a corrupt and the corruptee. So for anyone who has information, to come forward, because our approach as the NPA, we are clear, 100% non-tolerant to corruption. So for anyone who knows that there is corruption ongoing, it's for them to report it to us, so that we can take the necessary steps, because we don't need corrupt elements within our institution. We believe that we must be providing a service that shows loyalty to the state specifically. So we don't tolerate corruption, and for anyone who has information, they need to report it so that we can then take the necessary steps. We can assure the public that we are dealing with corrupt elements as we should. They go through the necessary disciplinary process, and where they are found guilty, they are dismissed. We have prosecutors appearing before our courts for corruption-related matters. Any office of the NPA, any office of the South African Police Service also can investigate such elements. We also have our anti-corruption hotline through our website as well. You can go into our website, you either go through the Office of Integrity Management Unit, report it there, or report directly to the anti-corruption. Indeed, we have seen, we have achieved remarkable strides in terms of changing our laws, because remember, we are growing as a society, and as we grow, our needs are also growing. So we need to have laws that responds directly to societal needs. So hence we work on ensuring that our laws also grow to meet societal needs. Like the president have signed the GBVF bill. It has now been enacted into law. So we constantly review and check that do our laws still meet societal demands as they should. Well, like I said, you know, it's difficult to comment in general because cases would differ. Some cases will find that the investigations can be concluded in the shortest time, and some may take longer. So it depends from case to case.
Now, I think along the same question, do you have the powers as the National Prosecuting Authority to go in as far as saying, I think now we have to ask the judge to recuse himself because of, or herself, because of, we simply, these are just tactics and are politically motivated.
No, that's where we invoke Section 342A of the Criminal Procedure Act for the judge to determine if indeed these requests by the defense, because remember that it will be delays that maybe are caused by the can be attributed to the accused, and obviously each and every time they have to request for a postponement, they need to give reasons why they are requesting a postponement, and if the court finds it reasonable enough, it will provide them that further postponement. Well, from a scale of 1 to 10, I can give a 7. 7, yes, because it's not possible for us to win all the cases. Like I've said, there's so many role players within the system itself, and not because we lack the necessary skills. Yes, there is always room for improvement, and we cannot say all our prosecutors are 100% at par with what we require as the NPA. Hence, we try to capacitate them through training, where we build capacity so that they can be able to face the challenges that they may come across in court. So we are not yet at the point where we want to be as the NPA, but we are doing our best, and we believe that we've got so many good stories to tell as the NPA. Cases we have won in court. You can also give testimony in terms of the high-profile cases that we have won previously in court. Well, like I said, you know, it's difficult to comment in general because cases would differ. Some cases will find that the investigations can be concluded in the shortest time, and some may take longer. So it depends from case to case.
Now, I think along the same question, do you have the powers as the National Prosecuting Authority to go in as far as saying, I think now we have to ask the judge to recuse himself because of, or herself, because of, we simply, these are just tactics and are politically motivated?
No, that's where we invoke Section 342A of the Criminal Procedure Act for the judge to determine if indeed these requests by the defense, because remember that it will be delays that maybe are caused by the can be attributed to the accused, and obviously each and every time they have to request for a postponement, they need to give reasons why they are requesting a postponement, and if the court finds it reasonable enough, it will provide them that further postponement.